Hey, good evening. It's 6:59 p.m. February 21st. Still Wednesday. It looks like this is video number 3. I get stuck in these oh my gosh, hang on a second, some water, tea or something. I get stuck in these little moods and stuff. And it's something that, I just have to deal with. But when I feel like I need to talk, it's like, it's hard because I don't really feel like, my issues are something that I can ever address to people that I come in contact with. This is I'm going to tell you the reasons why this is illegal is because it does affect a person's well-being as well as their financial well-being, so many other things. And where the psychological problem comes in, I deal with psychological problems because I am not comfortable with being stalked, you know what I mean? Or even worse, somebody trying to force me into directions that I'm not really wanting to go. I'm not, that is not an exaggeration when I said in my last video about people, trying to apply pressure on me to direct my life in a way that I don't want. and and I understand it's like I just wish I was never in a situation where I had to even explain myself. Because and I know as an adult I understand that there's so much corruption that goes on in this world, but I think growing up though, I did believe that the majority of people I did. I was naive. I knew that there was laws. I knew that there were things in place for protection. But I honestly thought that the majority of people were law abiding. I had no idea that so many people were ignorant of such things. And so it bothers me that somebody would actually target me. And then, and so I think it's understandable. It should be understandable to the perps that were involved who now understand the reasons why I behave the way that I do, why I'm uncomfortable with it. Earlier this morning, I made a video about the 1990s. I was in my 20s back then. Man, I was in my 20s back then. And, they had literally chased me out of my school. They had created problems for me in all of my jobs. I was doing everything I could to kind of catch myself back up and be stable or whatever. Everything that I did, we plowed down. I started realizing that this is not just a coincidence. You know what I mean? This is not just a coincidence. Like, this is something that keeps happening over and over and over again. And, um, you know, it just, I don't know what else to say, but other than, I'm not comfortable with it. You know what I mean? And it puts me in a state of major depression. And on all sides, I mean, like the idea of me like having to deal with that sort of environment for the rest of my life, it would just be too overwhelming. I couldn't even. Apparently, in my last life, it was devastating for me to be associated in that thing. Like, I probably either allowed myself to die, if that's the story of what really happened, because I mean, apparently in the 1800s, I died from some sort of lung infection or something. But I also know that I have a lot of mental strength. And it seems as though I'm the kind of person that would go when I was good and ready. I must have felt so unhappy and so, um, what do you call it? Just like there was nothing to live for at that point in my life back then, in that first life as the prince, then I must have allowed myself to die. Like, I just didn't give a shit. And I understand that feeling because this is a lot of the feeling that I have in my situation where I've had nothing but misery in the 1990s because of this issue. I had nothing but problems in my raising my son because of this issue. Everything that has gone wrong in my life, this is the goddamn truth. This is no lie. This is not an exaggeration. Everything result is goes back down to this targeting of of based on this experiment or whatever, and then picking apart my life principles, which are everything to me. My life principles mean more to me than life itself. I care nothing about living on this earth. Nothing. There is zero good in it. And unfortunately, so-called important people were a part of this, and it bothers me. I'm sorry if you don't like the way that I see things. I'm sorry if I'm really not, because like I said, I've always knew that I was operating within the law. Some people take offense to people like me. In this case, I do believe Pyramid Boy had an issue with the way that I choose to live my life. Like, I'm a single woman, based on based on, what do you call it, choice, which is wise for me to make sure that I be careful about abusers. Okay, especially when abusers can be easily coerced, convinced, manipulated. You could get yourself into a marriage, and the next thing you know, you're having problems with your marriage because this infiltration about changing religions or doing this, or and that you could have had a better life without all this outside intrusion, which really to me is just you overstep your boundaries. Okay, like I would just overstep your boundaries. 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 Yes, even you should have boundaries. Sorry. Like I would never, I know that in the grand scheme of things, the way that things are in this system, the way things are set up, like, and believe me, when I found out I had royal blood, I never thought for 1 minute that I was like royal, like on the same level of comparison, like when it comes to wealth, status, my name being known, and all this other stuff. I never looked at myself that way. I just thought, okay, well, this explains the reasons why I have superior traits. You know what I mean? I wasn't out here trying to like control the world or anything like that. It's just that explains a lot to me. It seems as though this group of people were just really into controlling and being the best, and they thought that I had the same aspirations. No, you know what, my thing is that I want as many intense experiences as I possibly can have. Intensity. I need intensity. I do. Okay, I'm not like another 53-year-old woman. I want to feel everything. You know, I want to explore things. I cannot stand still. I need those things. And it could be very well based on the fact that my childhood was taken from me. That could very well be it. It could be a contributing factor to who I am. I mean, I've always liked creative kid type stuff and bright colors and all that. I've always loved that kind of crazy stuff. Okay, but when I really think about my absolute need to be surrounded with that sort of stuff. A lot of it has to do with missed out childhood. The trauma of having, to always feel like I'm looking over my shoulders in the schoolyard, and now unwinding this whole story and now finding out, oh my God, um, to me, that's very serious to happen to a person, to be targeted, I mean, to be pointed out to be like some sort of bad person when you have absolutely no idea how to even defend yourself. You know, I want to say about people who choose to choose to seek their goals, and it's kind of like this unspoken. How could I say it? It's unspoken, but it's the truth. Okay, it's like everybody knows it, but you get really burned about it when you bring it up. Okay, like for example, um, there's people who may have wanted to lose like 20 pounds. Okay, and one person actually loses 20 pounds, and of course they're feeling better about themselves. So the point of them losing 20 pounds was to actually bring in alignment to every other goal that they have. Like that would be so they can feel better overall, so they can do this, and that, so they can go back to doing these sort of things they used to love, blah blah blah. This is the whole goal of it because this is supposed to help them overall. They are making a lifestyle change. That is something that is highly encouraged, especially commercially. They want you to buy all these products and stuff like that, and they encourage this sort of stuff. But if, God forbid, you actually get there, like if you actually become somebody who accomplishes that goal of doing that, to try to get your life in order, that balance. Yes, physical balance is just as important as spiritual balance. This is the reason why people get pissed off about the whole issue, because they struggle to do that. So then they want to bully you. They want to bully you, and that's one of the reasons we. I mean, I talk about laws a lot because I do know my rights. But what these people did is they psychologically abused me, as well as financially abused me, to try to force people into a lifestyle that it's like, to the thought of it, to me, becomes so warped and just so, like, I can't even handle it. I cannot handle it. I know it may sound crazy to you, but this is like me being the mystical person I am, me being the kid type person I am, me being the kind of, whatever it is that you don't like, I fucking love. I fucking love who I am. Period. And it might sound like, oh, I don't get it, whatever. I'm sorry, but every belief that I have, I feel very strongly about because I believe it's true. Every decision that I make, I hold firm on because, I believe, like I said, I take my exploration of life very seriously, so much that it's a part of my channel, my YouTube channel, and not just my YouTube channel. It's a part of my life's work. Yes, I'm calling it my life's work. The Swan Song Manifesto is what I believe my life's work, because I'm not only just talking about magic. I'm also talking about things, about how I see things and the reason why I see things the way that I do. And I think some people wanted me to pay the price because they wanted to teach me a lesson. This is what they're always wanting to do. They want to teach me a lesson. Well, I want to make you, take responsibility for what you believe in. According to the laws, I have the right to believe what I want to believe. And um, but to try to make somebody pay the price for it because you're personally angry and upset about it, it's abuse. I have dealt with your abuse for years after year after year after year, and I was very silent and bewildered about it, and even nervous in my expression about it when I was dealing with it back in the 90s, back when in the 80s, and even the 70s, but like still not really understanding, like, what the hell. I just thought I was being bullied because I was a smart girl. Okay, I had no idea that. Shit. You know what I mean? It's just, it bothers me. It bothers me. It does. Because I would prefer my name stay out of you guys' mouths. I don't want to ever be under the microscope of, people that are big to the point of where they're like scoping me out and thinking that I'm some sort of threat. I'm not a threat to anybody. I'm just somebody who believes in making the best of this situation. I don't believe that life here on earth is fulfillment, or that it's very difficult. It's very difficult to get any sort of fulfillment in life, especially the way that the system's built. That the system's fucked. Period. You know what I mean? And I see that. What I'm saying is the system. I'm talking about the encouragement that people sit here and follow just because other people tell them to, or that it's the main, thought of what people usually do, or just because you're 35 years old, you're supposed to do this, and this. I'm a special exception, and you know what? Um, um, those things matter. You know what I mean? They matter because I'm suffering from it. And I don't think anybody should sit here and make a decision based on such frivolous, like, or unstable type foundations just because somebody else's mother did this, and this, and this. There are women who are in really bad situations, abusive situations, like myself, who are very vulnerable to people who would want to abuse them, strip them of their assets, strip them of the things that they have the right to have, strip them of their identity. Your identity. Who you are, what you look like, what you choose to do, how you would choose to present yourself. I mean, this to me is just like, I am not comfortable with people trying to tell me how to live my life. I'm not. And yeah, some people think, oh, you're exaggerating when you say you'd rather. No, I swear to you, it's in my veins, just like the emperor, goodbye world, I fuck you. I don't want to live my life like that. This is one of the reasons why people were happy about being Americans, or like they felt like they didn't have to sweat it, because, they have the freedom of America. There's no reason. I believed that we lived in a free country, that something like this would never happen to me. This is why I'm bewildered. It's not me being rebellious because so and so from this other country is telling me something. I just never fucking believed that it was like that. I believed in the system to a certain degree because I understand that there was, like, the Constitution, we had, and stuff like that, that I believe were written by good men, smart men, intelligent men. It's just that people don't uphold anything. And that's why I was freaked out. That's why I was pissed off. That's why I was like, this is fucking wrong. It's wrong. And years after years, and I mean, the reason why these people don't see the urgency in what I'm telling them. The reason why I was making an attempt to move on with my life in the month of October, and they just sat there and just played with my life because you don't value my life. You are literally treating me like I am like a second class citizen. Maybe according to you in your book, maybe you think of me that way. Well, I'm sorry, I don't think of myself that way at all. And really, when at the end of the day, my own individual opinion matters more to me because I love myself. And I'm dead serious. I'm sorry this ever happened to me. I mean, I'm just like so unhappy about the entanglement of it. The fact that I can trace every heartache in my life to this issue. And that's not an exaggeration. Just like today, I was thinking about the my introduction to marijuana, and I was thinking to myself, the reason why I wanted to try marijuana because I was really, really feeling down. Okay, obviously I was tired of seeing my dad going downhill. My mom was relying too much on me because my dad was sick, and it was just getting to be too much. I couldn't take it anymore. In the 1990s, it was just, oh my gosh, it was a fucking nightmare. I hated the 1990s. But this is when they were targeting my father to the point of where he was just, that poor man was just losing it. He was breaking it. And people were being assholes at that point. You know what I mean? I will tell you, these people who chased me and chased my father, they were fucking relentless. Relentless. They knew good and well he was dying. They probably knew why and why, what was wrong with him, and they just sat there and let that shit happen. You know what I mean? So yeah, I have the right to be angry. I have the right to express myself. I have the right to say and talk about how I feel. Because, I'm sorry, but I'm dealing with people who don't have any fucking feelings, basically, or they're incapable of it, or perhaps maybe it just never crossed their mind. You know what I mean? That, you know, that my life is important to me. Or maybe they thought, well, maybe our life is probably better, and she would probably want to live like us instead. No, I don't want to be anybody else but goddamn me. That's very surprising. That's one of the reasons why I like my views in life, and I cherish them because I feel that strongly about them. I believe in me, 100 fucking percent, 100%. Not a joke, not an exaggeration. I'm saying this to people who look at themselves as important. I'm saying this in front of people who look at these people as important. And I'm saying this in front of the whole goddamn world who treated me like shit. And I was able to say, you know what, fuck you. I'm standing up for myself. I'm not going to let people treat me like this. Okay, and I would not have the balls to do that if I was thinking incorrectly. Okay, the thing is that I've been targeted for such a long time that people wanted to have, like, they start dehumanizing you to the point of where they want to use you for their game. They want to use you for their form of entertainment. You have used me for 53 years of my life and blamed me for everything that I didn't accomplish in your fucked up system that's not even worth going through. I mean, I when I think about how the system is set up, I can't even tell you how frustrated it pisses me off. You know, I was talking about the hamster wheel earlier. It's like, okay, you know, people, it's, my God. Do you understand that having any sort of dream of advancement for anybody at this point is just becoming more and more of a fucking joke? Kids to actually dream. When I was a little kid, I would dream about being a mother and shit like that. I mean, look at into the future. Kids are a fucking luxury. Okay, they're a luxury. Okay, we live in a very messed up system right now. Okay, it's to be honest. You know, I do understand leadership. I fully understand it. I understand it's time consuming, and I understand how a person's actions make an impact on the world, and I understand that. I never wanted to be a part of involved in politics or anything. I'm just a spiritual person. I hate the world. Okay, I mean I don't hate people like that, but what I mean by that is like I hate the way the world operates. It operates backwards. It is backwards. It is very slow in advancement. It, regardless of the technology, you know, all of that is great. But when it comes to the simple everyday man, they are backwards. They are backwards. And I am forward in my thinking, and I'm extremely fucking in like, you know, 100%, 200%, as much as I could fucking give into my belief of my abilities. That's what I totally believe in. This is what gives me the strength to say what I say. This is the strength. This is what gives me the strength to do what I want to do, and because I believe that, I believe in myself. Basically, is what I'm saying. So anyway, I don't know if I'm done talking, or am I going to sit here and like stew on more shit? It's just you know, like I said, it's not. This is not pleasant. It's not pleasant having to deal with stagnation in my life. It's not pleasant for me to have to explain myself and feel scared about doing it. Because I'm sorry, I understand you might be important people, but what you did was inappropriate. It was inappropriate. Okay. I have a life too. You know what I mean? And it's, you know, it's like nobody gave a shit if Maria sat here and wasted her time, her life, her valuable time. That's my life. That was taken from me. You know what I mean? No regard for any of the things that I cared about or anything. It's just like, wow. You know, um, yeah, I want to move on. I'm tired of looking at the fucking tragedy. That's all it is to me. It's a fucking tragedy. You know? My life is a tragedy. Period. That's all it is to me. You know what I mean? Except for the weird little moments that I can sit here and like somehow entertain myself. It's dark. You know what I mean? I'm tired of having to sit here and think about it. I just want to go on with my life. I don't want to have to deal with, oh well, someone's messing with your account, or you gotta check this email. I'm tired of fucking not being able to pay my bills and what do you call it, duck dodging fucking emails. I hate doing this. Okay, I fucking hate it, and I didn't ask for it. Take responsibility as you consider yourself to be a leader. Well, I just pointed out your flaw. It is your responsibility to correct it. Yeah, I mean, I do care about those things. Just, I guess I just care about them in private. Anyway, you know what? I'm sorry. I have the right to rant. I'm going to rant if I need to, but I'd rather not. I'd rather be, you know, writing new content. I'd rather be like going out and talking to people that I find interesting so I could interview for like, you know, videos and stuff. I want to do things with my life. I want to do the things that I need to do. I want to like get into it. I'm enthusiastic about. I want to leave my mark on the world. Why? Because I do believe that I deserve to be remembered. I deserve to be remembered. Okay. Technically, I think maybe they're the reason why I have never been recorded, or they wouldn't record me because they're making a big issue of my religion. I'm sorry, I was not meant to believe in your gods. Okay. I have nothing against Jesus. I have nothing against anything like that. I think Jesus is a great representation. It is not my bloodline. Okay. I'm not of that bloodline, and it's wrong to sit here and expect people to adhere or accept something that is not meant for them. You know what I mean? If it is, some people gravitate for a certain thing like that. Like I talked about, there's like a lot of white people in this country. There's a lot of black people in this country too who love Native American stuff. They love the drumming music. They love the feathers. They try to recreate as much as they possibly can. Like certain what do you call it? Indian ceremonies that they probably have no knowledge of, but they're doing the best they can. Okay, they try to do that sort of copy it or whatever because they gravitate towards it, and God knows why. Okay, some people just adhere to certain religions that were not necessarily meant for them, but they just gravitate towards that. And I never in any way tried to like it was not a form of disrespect. I never even thought like you guys could even be involved in it never even crossed my mind. Never. The idea that I was some sort of clone reincarnate, never crossed my mind. I thought I was James Gordon's daughter. I thought that Mary Gordon was my mother. I thought that those were just my unfortunate situation to have siblings that wicked, but I thought they were my siblings. Um, and then I just had to take a step back and start thinking and meditating, and I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, no, I don't know. I want to feel safe. I want to feel safe and I want to feel stable. And I don't believe what I'm being told with the Patreon. I don't believe it at all. And I know you guys are fucking with my shit. Please get it taken care of. Please. I beg of you. As soon as possible. I really don't want to see any signs of this anymore. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I understand who you guys are. I understand what you guys mean. I get it. Okay. But, and I did reach out to one of you guys on social media. It's my way of basically saying, hey, I acknowledge you. You know what I mean? Okay, I want to be cool. I need to move on. I don't want to hold grudges. Okay? But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and bow down and let people fucking basically manipulate me and destroy me psychologically. And God knows you have already fucked my shit up financially. Okay? Like I said, people try their hardest not to get late on bills and stuff like that. But I will if I have to. You know what I mean? I didn't ask to be in this situation. Never. I never tried to. And when I think about my concern with other people, it's like, well, if people don't start taking a good look at this human trafficking issue, which is huge, people are never going to have any sort of like balance in their life at all. Forget it. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's a waste of time to go to school. It's a waste of the school system's a waste. Everything's a waste of time if we continue to do things this way. It's like everybody's just on this like hamster wheel to nowhere. It's a problem. It's like whatever. And yeah, I mean, I guess so. I understand why people would think I would be good in politics, but like I said, it takes a lot to fix the problems. I understand what the problems are, but then you'd have to deal with participation. You'd have to deal with people having to have respect for the new ways that would need to be implemented for change to actually happen. And then there's always, and how would you bring about those changes? You would just have to implement so many different changes, and people would have to be on board for that sort of stuff. I'm not interested in orchestrating all that. You know what I mean? But I certainly can point out what's wrong, and I can also point out what I think would be the solution. But like I said, when it comes to, I hate the fact that you have to rely on other people. I fucking can't stand that, because in my mind, people have always fucked me over. They have always they either show up too late or they don't show up at all. I don't. I've gotten to the point where I don't. I've given up on people. Like I just don't. Anything that involves anything outside of myself, I'm just like, oh man. you know, I can't help but feel that way because I've never had anyone that I could rely on. It's always been be me. I've always only had me, and because most people either flake out, they don't have the ability to do this, they don't follow through. It's just like, okay, Maria just needs to work with Maria. It's always been that way, yeah. So anyway, I just need to make sure you understand. I was like, I don't want to have I don't want to come back. Like, I would never want to I would have never come back knowing what was going to end up happening to my father. I would have not have come back at all. Seeing as how I only spent a very few years with him in my life, I would not have come back. I do not want to come back again. I would prefer to just make the best of the little time that I have here on this earth for the rest of my life and live out my days and then peacefully depart from the world when it's my time. That's what I choose to do. You know what I mean? I don't. I'm just disgusted. I just feel like this world has been nothing but empty. It's nothing but garbage. There's nothing to get excited about, and there's nothing to live for. That's how I fucking see it. And a zero, nothing to live for. Because it all seems illusionary. It all seems like plastic, fake. Um, and just I feel as though there's certain other things that we'd be better off pursuing than how people are just sitting there on that fucking hamster wheel all the time. But anyway, I'm gonna get off here because I'm getting tired, starting to slur. I mean, so I'm ready to go to bed. Ready to go to bed. I want to shut my brain down. I'm tired of thinking about the same thoughts. That's all I think about is me being trafficked. All I think about is me being 53 years old. All I think about is the 1990s and how I should have known back then that it was deeper. I just thought, a bunch of weird people. Why didn't I think of this deeper back then? You know what I mean? I wish I would have known what was going on back then. You know what I mean? I wish I had a clear idea of what I was actually having to go through and what my dad was actually having to go through. Like, I had no idea. I just felt really bad for him. I knew that he was like becoming sick and I knew that he was getting nervous. He seemed very afraid of, I think people tried to modify his behavior too because he always seemed very afraid of going outside. Remember when we got a new car one time and he was afraid because he didn't want people to see it? Probably because he kept thinking if I get a new car, then they'll think I had too much and then they'll punish me. This is the kind of shit that they do. This is the kind of feeling that I ended up getting when I was working over at my last job. Because I really, these people, and I was just thinking about the dude that I thought was really cool with my dad. Now it all makes sense why this dude was so helpful to my father, because he was a fucking perv. That's why he was all helpful. That's why he was like super kind and nice to me. And, all of this shit is just really twisted off to me. I can't tell you how psychologically damaged you made me. You think that this shit is not that big of a deal. It is a big deal to me. Especially since looking at my life and everything in it was bullshit. My fucking family was bullshit. The fucking neighborhood was bullshit. The fucking schoolyard friends were nothing but fucking informants. That's all they fucking were. My life was nothing but a fucking prop for their weird, warped entertainment. That's fucking sick. Okay? And then, I want to get it out and get away from it, but then there's always that bullshit that just wants to slow me down, let me know that it's there, and then hold me accountable for my behavior when you have no right to ask me to do something like that. I don't have to justify myself to anyone, and nor will I. It's like inappropriate. It's like you don't realize how inappropriate this is. It's inappropriate to be treated the way that I've been treated. It's inappropriate to take possession of a human being and then demand that they respect you. And then play fiddly fuck when they are in a desperate need to get their money, which is rightfully theirs. Okay? I don't think you understand how offensive you really are. But you need somebody to tell you that. And I think I'm the one to tell you that. So anyway, I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. Okay, so I'd like to move on, and see, I can only move on when you stop dragging your tail. So I'm hoping that you understand the importance of my deadline. That's what I'm saying, because I'm tired of making these videos. I really would like to just. The only things I really want to do is just do what I need to do, live my life, and forget about this. I swear to you, once things move on, I mean, I won't say shit. I don't want to fucking think about this shit anymore. I get night terrors thinking of you guys. Okay? I'm not happy with that at all. So I'm going to wrap that up. This video needs to be wrapped up, okay? I think you guys get the gist of it. Why am I saying this? Because I have too much time on my hands. Okay, I should not be working in such a demoralized manner. I should be like springing out of bed, writing out content, getting my shit done, one thing after another. But it's slug here, slug there, 3 months waiting to post a goddamn video. Can I ever even? That's so fucking ridiculous. It's not even. It's just ridiculous. It's stupid. But you know what it is more to me? It becomes morbid to me. Because I remember the same people who were involved in the 1990s nightmare, my father's death, and everything else, and me missing out on my childhood. And this is all it ever leads back to for me. I am not comfortable with any of this at all. So that's why I just prefer to get these reminders cleared up as soon as possible. So I don't have to sit here and talk about that. You know what I mean? Or, bring up memories of people that, were just informants, or people who think that they have some sort of right to be close to me when in fact I would rather run. There's people who want to connect to me back, from when I used to know them, when they were nothing but informants to me. Nothing but informants. People who just wanted to sit here, tell people that I was weird so they can, come back here and they were set out just to watch me. They weren't my fucking real friends. You know what I mean? So, I mean, really, some of it just, like I said, I just need to get on with my life. It's too much for me. It's too much. And I'm sorry that you cannot understand how it is from my point of view. That's really too bad. It's really too bad that you can't understand from my point of view. But um, it's something that I'm not happy about at all. Anyway, so I'm going to wrap up this video, and I will be back with another video sometime later. Hopefully tomorrow I will get things done. I'm just, like I said, I'm an autonomous person for a reason, because this is where I get my motivation. Anytime I'm dealing with people, I'm dealing with stagnation. This person can't get their shit together. This person's doing this. This person thought that I wanted to do this, or this person wanted to try to make me do this. Slow down, slow down, slow down. So what you're doing is harassment. It's harassment. Well, I should not have to deal with any sort of setback, any sort of issues, any sort of negotiation, any sort of plan, risk, or instruction. I understand you're important people, but you're in my fucking way. Now I'm going to get off this video. I'll be back with another video sometime later. Take care.